مرحبا، أنا أمريكي من أصل لبناني، ولكن ما بلشت أتعلم اللغة العربية إلا لما فتت على الجامعة، ولهالسبب ما بحكي العربي بطلاقة. بعتذر منكم، رح أجرب أحكي بالعربي بس معظم الحديث حيكون بالإنجليزي. لما بلشت أدرس اللغة العربية افتكرت إنه الصفي رح يكون كبير. اللغة العربية هي خامس أكثر لغة محكية بالعالم، وهي مطلوبة كتير بسوق العمل. أكيد في كتير من الطلاب الأمريكان مهتمين يتعلموها، صح؟ للأسف مش صح. صفي كان كتير صغير. بالأول فكرت يمكن بس صفي هيك، وفتشت عن هالشي. شفت إنه في ال10 سنين الماضية بأمريكا عدد طلاب الجامعات المسجلين بصفوف اللغة العربية قل بنسبة 35%. وبالآخر 5 سنين بس قل العدد بنسبة 27%. وهذا الشيء هو عكس يلي ممكن نفتكره. اللغة العربية هي من اللغات الأسرع نمواً، ولكن الأمريكان عم يتعلموها أقل سنة بعد سنة. بس العربي مش بوحدة بتواجه هالمشكلة. منشوف حالات متشابهة مع الإسبانية والفرنسية والعلمانية. بالمجموعة بأمريكا معدل طلاب بالجامعات المسجلين بصفوف اللغات بشكل عام قل بنسبة 30%. ورغم أن هذا الشيء حزين مش كتير صعب نفهم السبب. نعم، في هذا العصر نحن أكثر مترابطين من أي وقت من قبل، بس الميديا، الأكاديمية، الإنترنت، كل بنيتنا التحتية الحديثة مبنية على اللغة الإنجليزية اللينغوا فرانكا. I'm standing in front of you, able to speak in English, even though I'm not fluent in Arabic. You see, people learn English because they have to, but most English speakers only learn other languages because they want to. Now, English probably isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon, and because of that, you might think it's going to be very difficult to promote Arabic education. But I want to look at those stats again and consider a different language, Japanese. Now, unlike all the other languages, which saw big decreases in the number of new learners, Japanese actually stayed pretty consistent. And now consider Korean. Over the past 10 years, the number of university enrollments in Korean doubled. Now, if we think about the reasons that people traditionally learn languages, they don't really apply here, right? I mean, the number of countries that use Japanese and Korean is much less than in Arabic. There's fewer work opportunities in these countries, and the total number of speakers is much less than the total number of Arabic speakers. And yet, Americans are flocking to these languages. The explanation, I think, is pretty clear. Americans enjoy Japanese and Korean popular culture. Japanese culture has long manifested in the US. Video games, movies, martial arts, anime. And over the past 15 years, Korean culture has exploded with the youth of America. Movies, TV shows, K-pop. They call it the Korean wave. Americans aren't learning Korean and Japanese for academic reasons or for business reasons. No, they're learning them because they want to learn them. مهتمين باللغات من تلقاء ذاتهم. And that's what we're missing when it comes to Arabic education in the West. You see, I really like languages. And I, over the past couple of years, have been making YouTube videos, TikToks, Instagram Reels, trying to promote my love of languages. And I've always wanted to promote Arabic. Now, the way I've been doing that is in two different ways. The first, which I thought would be pretty applicable to most English speakers, is through the effects of Arabic on the English language. I think most Americans aren't actually very well familiar with all of these effects, but there's actually a very long, storied history of how Arabic has impacted English. When Americans study history, they focus on Europe, but these linguistic pieces of information can show them the broader picture, that the Arab world actually had a huge impact on the development of English. For example, there's lots of common everyday words in English that are very surprising when Americans hear about their origins. For example, coffee, mattress, syrup, magazine, alcohol, just some of the very many words in English that actually originally come from Arabic. Americans are typically shocked when they hear this. They didn't realize that Arabic had such an effect on their language. But what I think is even cooler is not these everyday words, but the scientific terminology, because it really tells us about the important history of the development of Arabic. So, for example, in mathematics, in English, we have algebra, تجي من الجبر, right? That shows us that the Arabs were the ones who brought the idea of algebra to Europe. That's also why the numbers in English are called Arabic numerals, العربية. That shows that the Arabs were the ones who brought this concept to Europe. And it's not just mathematics. We see this also with terms in astronomy or terms in chemistry. These also come from Arabic. In fact, even the word chemistry itself, تجي من الكيمياء. This goes to show just how foundational the Arab world was in the development of the sciences. Now, whether this is intentional or not, in Europe, they often downplay the discoveries from across the world. But the beauty of these linguistic fun facts is that they're almost undeniable. You know, it doesn't matter if someone didn't study history. If they speak English, well, the proof is in their language. For example, the word zero, well, that comes from صفر in English. That's proof in the language in English that the Arabs brought the idea of zero to Europe. Or how about terminology in astronomy? The majority of stars in English, اسماء النجوم, so for example, Rigel, Vega, Betelgeuse, Deneb, even Arrakis, like in the movie Dune, it's also a real star, these all come from old medieval terms for some of the stars in Arabic. That means the proof is in the English language, that the Arabs were some of the most foundational in astronomy. Now, I think sharing all of this information online definitely opened up people's eyes as to how much Arabic impacted English. But here's the thing. Arabic isn't just beautiful because it impacted English. Arabic is beautiful in and of itself. And that's something I've always wanted to talk about when I made these videos. But it was kind of hard to do that. You see, online, they always tell us to make your videos engaging and relatable. But who wants to hear about the structure of a language they don't even speak? You might be surprised. I have a number of examples, but my favorite has to do with morphology. This is called sarf in Arabic. This is the way in which different words are formed. Now, most languages, including English, do something called concatenative morphology. الصرف المتسلسل. It's kind of a difficult concept to explain, but the general idea is that a word starts with a root, and you add prefixes and suffixes. Pretty simple. Most English speakers don't even think about this. In fact, it's kind of hard to think about how else you could make words. That's the beautiful thing. One of my favorite things about Arabic is that it's one of the only languages in the whole world that does non-concatenative morphology. الصرف غير المتسلسل أو الصرف المتقطع. This is also kind of difficult to explain, but the basic idea is that you start with the root characters. So something like ك, ت, ب. الحروف الساكنة. And then you add in the vowels, الحروف المتحركة. And this is how you form the words. It's not rendering exactly properly here. But words are formed in this manner. And so, what you can do is you can find different words with related meanings that share the same root, the same jadr, but differentiate in meaning by different vowel patterns, الأوزان. Now, to many Arabs, this is either something you learned in school or something you don't think twice about. But to Americans or to English speakers, this is a completely different way of looking at language. This is almost inconceivable to them. And so I wanted to make a video talking about this subject. It's kind of technical, right? I figured it wouldn't do that well on social media. I was surprised. The video received millions of views. and people all over the comments, English speakers, were saying how surprised they were that something was even possible in language. And what was most surprising to me is that there were a number of comments that said that they were inspired to start learning Arabic because of this. I mean, that's incredible, right? Now, obviously, you guys all know that Arabic is very different from English in a number of different respects. And so whenever I'd make a video about this, I'd get similar comments. More people saying they were fascinated by Arabic and they wanted to start learning it. If you told me 2 years ago that I could encourage people to start learning Arabic from grammar lessons, I would have laughed for sure. I mean, grammar lessons are supposed to be boring, right? No one wants to learn i'rab. And yet, all these people are looking at this fascinating structure of the Arabic language and wanting to learn more. You see, social media has completely changed the way we look at language. And I've been telling you about my experience with linguistics, but on the internet, on social media, we find plenty of other ways that people are sharing aspects of Arabic culture that they find awesome to them. Music, movies, calligraphy. Recently, poetry, Arabic poetry, went viral on TikTok. And I was looking through many of the videos, and in them, you'll find even more comments of people saying they want to start learning Arabic. This was never possible 10 years ago. But today, social media is the primary way we interact with other languages. We've spent a long time promoting the Arabic language through traditional means. Work opportunities or connecting with other cultures. I mean, these are all great things, of course. Religious purposes, and we should continue to do that, for sure. But that's not enough. In our modern technical age, we need to ensure that English speakers want to learn Arabic. Maybe that sounds difficult, but I promise it isn't. نحن محظوظين أن اللغة العربية عندها تاريخ مهم وثقافة مميزة وتنوع واسع وبنية رائعة. نحن مش بحاجة أن نفرض اللغة العربية على حدا. نحن بس بحاجة أن نفرجي العالم جمالها. شكرا لكم.